The night air settles, thick and warm around Samir and Layla's apartment. They live in a modest flat on the fifth floor of a slightly worn building, one of many in this quiet neighborhood where the city's usual chaos feels far away. The faint sounds of traffic linger, but they're muffled, muted by the walls and closed windows. After a pleasant evening together, they finish a loving meal and put some background noise on the TV, cuddling and enjoying their time before they have to get up for work the next day. Uneventful but peaceful, almost serene. They laugh and smile quietly in the glow of the television. It's their ritual, a pocket of calm in their lives, and by 10 they're both yawning, their heads heavy, ready for sleep. They shut off the lights and crawl into bed, their small room casting soft shadows as the faint amber glow of the street lamp filters in. Layla leans her head on Samir's shoulder, her breathing slowing as she drifts off, lulled by the hum of an old air conditioner and the familiar warmth of his presence. Outside, the streets are almost silent, with the occasional distant murmur of someone calling out to their friend and the hum of a motorbike passing through the neighborhood. A few hours of rest pass by when Layla's eyes open with a jerk. She's disorientated, unsure what pulled her from her sleep, and she feels a strange pressure in her chest. In her knees she can't quite place. Blinking in confusion, she notices a strange, greenish glow bleeding through the curtains, far brighter than the usual amber haze. She glances at Samir, who's still asleep beside her, the glow now spilling faintly over his face, casting strange shadows under his eyes, making his skin look pale, almost otherworldly. She shakes him gently. "Samir, wake up," she whispers, her voice slow, trying not to startle him. His eyes open, bleary at first, but then they sharpen as he too notices the unsettling light filling their room. Together they sit up and exchange a look of confusion. Samir swings his legs off the side of the bed, moving quietly toward the window with Layla in tow, her heart thumping as the sense of unease grows. Peeling back the curtain just a sliver, they peer out, eyes adjusting to the surreal sight below. The street they know so well is bathed in an unnatural green light that seems to pulse and breathe, casting distorted, flickering shadows on the walls of the buildings around them. The light source isn't immediately visible. It looks as though it's coming from somewhere far off in the distance, but it's unlike any light they've ever seen. It's too vibrant, too cold. Trees lining the road cast long, distorted shadows that seem to sway, almost as if the shadows themselves were alive, bending and twisting in sync with the eerie glow. As they watch, a faint hum rises through the building, low and rhythmic, vibrating through the walls and floor, sending a chill up Layla's spine. The feeling is just barely noticed. It's like a hum that hovers on the edge of sense. It has an almost musical quality to it, yet it feels completely alien, making the room and their surroundings feel claustrophobic, as if the walls are pressing in on them. Samir's fingers tighten around the curtain as he and Layla exchange a look, a wordless question hanging between them. The light pulses one last time, expanding into a ghostly, ethereal wall that beams upwards from what they can tell is the Tigris River. The air hums with a strange, almost palpable energy, crackling as the glow intensifies. In an instant, it begins to rush over everything in its path, swirling like a tidal wave of pure energy, all-consuming, blindingly bright, and utterly commanding. For a heartbeat, it feels as if the world itself is holding its breath, and then, without warning, the light vanishes in an abrupt, deafening silence, plunging the street back into inky darkness. The humming that had reverberated in the air ceases, leaving an unsettling void in its wake. Everything goes still, eerily still, like the world has paused, suspended in time. Samir and Layla remain by the window, unconscious, their bodies slumped against the wall, oblivious to the dramatic shift around them. The shadows settle back into place, but something is wrong. There is no longer the familiar amber glow of the street lamps, no comforting illumination to guide the way. Instead, the darkness has swallowed everything whole, transforming the once familiar landscape into a vast, impenetrable void. It's as if the green light had never existed at all, leaving no trace but a haunting emptiness where light once reigned. A few minutes pass as they both begin to stir, Neither of them are aware of what happened, the strangeness of what they see settling over them. After getting themselves up and making sure they're fine, they gaze out their window at the darkness, never seeing such a sight. Finally, Layla whispers, "What was that?" Her voice trembles, barely breaking the silence. Samir doesn't answer. He just stares out into the darkness, as if waiting for the light to return, hoping and confused that it's not. Fear creeps in as he realizes it's not changing. The darkness of the night stays. "I don't know," he finally replies. "We could be at war, but I've never seen it like this." "What shall we do?" Layla asks. "What can we do?" Samir replies. "We wait. We go back to sleep. We see how we look in the morning." A few more minutes pass. Samir and Layla see the odd light in the distance, but nothing that lasts. The quiet seems eerie, but things seem normal for the most part, almost feeling back to calm as if nothing had happened. Suddenly, a figure darts into view, bathed in a sickly green glow. It's a person, a man, judging by his silhouette, but something's off. He moves with jerky, unnatural motions, his head swiveling erratically, as if he's searching for something or someone, yet he doesn't seem fully aware of his surroundings. The man halts in the middle of the street, frozen for a moment, before his head tilts sharply, too sharply, as if responding to some unseen force. He looks up toward their building, his gaze seeming to pierce the very air between them. Layla's blood runs cold as his eyes appear to lock onto theirs, the unsettling feeling that he can see them, even through the darkness, creeping over her. The man's head suddenly jerks to the side as another man approaches. They're too far away to hear the words exchanged, but the scene unfolds in a flash. The first man lets out a blood-curdling scream before launching himself at the other, knocking him to the ground. He begins to rain blow after blow upon the defenseless man, each strike landing with brutal force. The victim's body goes limp, motionless as the assault continues. Blood dripping from his hands, the attacker stands, momentarily still, before he turns and runs towards Layla and Samir's building. They watch in stunned silence, their eyes fixed on the lifeless body lying in the street. Fear slowly seeps into them, leaving them in complete shock. The rapid sequence of events is overwhelming, too much to process. It feels like a nightmare, too surreal to fully comprehend. Suddenly their attention snaps back to the fallen man. His eyes begin to glow the same eerie green light, and in the next moment he pushes himself to his feet. Without a word, he sprints off, screaming the same chilling cry as before. Layla's heart races as she watches the violent scene unfold before her. Her breath comes in as shallow gasps, her hands trembling at her sides. She can't tear her eyes away from the lifeless man in the street, the dark night with moonlight amplifying every terrifying detail. Her mind screams for some explanation, but none comes. Is this really happening? She glances at Samir, searching his face for some hint of clarity, but his eyes are wide with the same fear and confusion. She opens her mouth to speak, but no words come out. Her throat feels tight, as though the very air around her is choking her. Samir feels paralyzed, rooted to the spot as he watches the inexplicable events unfold. His mind races, trying to piece together something that makes sense, but it's all a blur. What's going on? Why is this happening? His instincts scream at him to move, to run, but his body doesn't respond. He grips the windowsill harder, his knuckles white with tension. He can feel the adrenaline coursing through his veins, but it only heightens his terror. As the man, now moving again, disappears into the darkness, a cold shiver runs down Samir's spine. What the hell is happening? He whispers, the words barely leaving his mouth. He doesn't know whether to flee or to stay, but the weight of the situation presses down on him like a vice. Both of them are paralyzed by fear, minds overwhelmed by the strangeness and violence of the scene. Their bodies are ready to run, but it's as if their minds are still in disbelief, unable to grasp what they've just witnessed.